thing is handled. So I'll just start by reading the notice. It says to Representative Leah Cushman. It CCs Thomas Massey, Jimmy Jordan, Kelly Potenza, Shane Sirway, sorry, Mike Drago, Jason Gerhard, Jonah Wheeler, J.R. Hole, Diane Kelly, Christine Perez, J.D. Bernardi, and Nikki McCarter. This particular one is from Andrew Noyes, but I received about, I'd say, almost 200 of them now, and hopefully everyone else is getting them too in your email. So it says notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. I, Andrew Noyes, one of the people as seen in the 50 state constitutions, Republican in form, do now bring you this notice that you and your agents may provide due care and the due regard you swore an oath to provide. Take notice that I have the authority to give you instructions pursuant to the terms found in the New Hampshire Constitution. See evidence below. New Hampshire Constitution, Part 1, Article 32. The people have a right in an orderly and peaceable manner to assemble and consult upon the common good, give instructions to their representatives. Emphasis added. Webster's 1828 dictionary, instruct means to give notice or to furnish with orders. Take notice that I have a right to require an exact and constant observance of the laws you swore oath to uphold. See evidence below. New Hampshire Constitution, Part 1, Article 38. Quote, and they have a right to require of their lawgivers and magistrates an exact and constant observance of them in the formation and execution of the laws necessary for the good administration of government. Emphasis added. Take notice I have a right to expect you to respond to this instruction pursuant to Article 8. See evidence below. New Hampshire Constitution, Part 1, Article 8. All power residing in and being derived from the people, all the magistrates and officers of government are their substitutes and agents at all times and accountable to them. Government therefore should be open, accessible, accountable, and responsive. Emphasis added. Take notice that beginning in October of 2023, the people utilized their right to instruct when they ordered by way of notice the New Hampshire DCYF to produce evidence to New Hampshire House Representative Leah Cushman that was sufficient to prove that the constitutional form of due process as described in the New Hampshire Constitution is being adhered to exactly and constantly before New Hampshire DCYF intervenes in the life of any one of the people of New Hampshire. Take notice that the allotted time for New Hampshire DCYF to respond to said notice has passed. Representative Cushman followed the instructions given to her by the people in the same notice to follow up with Lori Weaver, Commissioner of the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services, to seek the documents and evidence which had been demanded and which was due to the people who hold all political power in the body politic as mentioned in the New Hampshire Constitution, Part 1, Article 8. Take notice that an interloper, Frank D. Nachman, who claimed to be representing Lori Weaver, but is another one of the people's agents bound by the People's Trust to look after the people's interests first and foremost, replied in lieu of Commissioner Weaver to summarily state that constitutional due process is being followed. Mr. Nachman's reply is wholly insufficient to overcome the allegations made by the several people through sworn statements and testimonies that true constitutional due process is not being followed exactly as required by the New Hampshire Constitution. Maxim of law. In law, none is credited unless he is sworn. All facts must, when established by witnesses, be under oath or affirmation. Take notice that it is doubtful whether New Hampshire DCYF and Family Court are exactly and constantly observing New Hampshire Constitution, Part 1, Articles 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, and 20 when they interact with the people of New Hampshire. Current allegations and sworn testimony provided by the several people corroborate that there is an ongoing breach of trust and that grave irreparable harm is being done to the people. Take notice that the people instructed Representative Leah Cushman to form an investigative committee to either exonerate New Hampshire DHHS of allegations or to confirm they are indeed true. The committee was formed. Take notice that during the first few meetings of the committee, many people of New Hampshire came forward under oath and presented testimony that egregious trespass of constitutional due process is occurring at the New Hampshire DHHS DCYF and that people's rights to liberty and the pursuit of happiness are being irreparably harmed as a result. Take notice that Representative Leah Cushman was involuntarily relieved of her duties as committee chair, which is a trespass by the Speaker of the House against several people's clear and expressed will found in the first notice sent in October 2023. The New Hampshire Speaker of the House did not provide any clear written proof of any unlawful act committed by Leah Cushman that precipitated her removal as chair. Take notice that New Hampshire DHHS DCYF remains in default of producing evidence sufficient to overcome the allegations established by the several people through notice, affidavits, and testimony. Take notice that it is my wish and demand that an ad hoc committee now be formed to resume following the will of the several people who wished for Leah Cushman to chair an investigatory committee on this matter, seeking truth, justice, and reform. The people demand the following representatives be placed on this ad hoc committee with Leah Cushman as chair. Representatives Kelly Potenza, Shane Serway, Mike Drago, Jason Gerhard, Jonah Wheeler, J.R. Hole, Diane Kelly, Christine Perez, J.D. Bernardi, and Nikki McCarter. I'm sorry. Take notice that this committee is instructed to resume affirming the true definitions and standards of constitutional due process. To verify the extent to which New Hampshire DHHS DCYF is adhering to or disregarding these, to investigate the nexus of New Hampshire DHHS DCYF and family court, to investigate the historical tradition of the founding generation for exacting reparations from the legislative branch as a means of redress of grievance, and the extent of the authority of the legislature over agencies which it created. The extent of authority under rights found in New Hampshire Constitution Part 1, Article 14, for legislature to bring justice and repair access to rights, all without need of any court process. Furthermore, the committee shall investigate its responsibility and powers to administer discipline to any agency personnel obstructing justice and the rights of the people, and to carry out whatever modes are available, such as impeachments, repeal of legislation, and so on. The committee shall present its findings and suggested remedies to the people who served this notice, to the Supreme Court of the United States, to the U.S. House of Representatives Thomas Massey and Jim Jordan, to the New Hampshire Supreme Court, to the Special Committee on the Division for Children, Youth, and Families, chaired by Erica Leon, and to the New Hampshire Attorney General. Take final notice that it is my wish and demand that the above instructions be carried out to the fullest extent. If you do not believe that the people have the powers enumerated in the Bill of Rights of the New Hampshire Constitution to order you to follow these instructions, then rebut these instructions point by point by way of a sworn affidavit within 10 days. If you fail to rebut these instructions, you agree by acquiescence that all stated herein is truth and that you are responsible for carrying out the above set of instructions. Alternatively, if you agree that the people have this power and these are your duties, reply in writing to this email in the affirmative, no sworn affidavit necessary, and request the next set of instructions. This notice is given in the peace and love of Christ, that the people may peacefully correct their government to its intended Republican form, that justice may be brought forth, families reunited, reputations restored, and financial losses repaired.